purpose of that mission was to go to Iraq and find or seek the reality and the truth of what's happening on the ground. I don't want to talk about it. I'll leave it to our guest panelists here, who went there and observed firsthand.
And it's only with unity as a society, as civil society, we come together, as Muslims, non-Muslims, Christians, governmental institutions, non-governmental institutions. It's only child. I'll give you one very quick example. I spoke to a man and he witnessed this with his own eyes. He said ISIS took a woman out of an ambulance, ripped open her stomach, she was heavily pregnant, took out the fetus, killed the baby, and shot her and killed her. For what reason? That she disagreed with its ideology or its views. That Iraqis are all united against Daesh. Number 3, which was quite unique for me as a person, was that the vast majority of the victims or the fatalities, should I say, of Daesh's atrocities are Sunnis. The vast majority of the people that have been affected by the killing.
الفكرة أتت نظرا للضغوطات الإعلامية التي تواجه المسلمين في الغرب. تعرفون الإعلام هي في الغرب يصور أن العراق في حالة احتقان مذهبية وطائفية. فإحنا عملنا إحنا في الجروب انتجريتي عملنا أن نؤسس إلى سفرة بحيث نجلب معنا علماء من أهل السنة والجماعة لتقصي الحقائق. النظرة اللي كانوا ينظرون لها قبل السفرة كانت نظرة يعتقدون أن العراق في حالة صراع طائفي، وأن الحل الوحيد في العراق هو التقسيم على المذاهب. فحبينا أن نأخذهم وخليهم يلقون نظرة على الواقع في العراق.
From France, from Belgium, from Germany, from the United Kingdom. I met one individual at the refugee camp and I asked him, I said, what was your perception, what was your view about Iraqis about ISIS when you saw them? And he said something quite moving, which really took me back. He said the vast majority of them were not Iraqis, they did not speak Arabic. They actually spoke English as a medium. And as I spent time in Iraq with our eminent imams and scholars, as we met governmental, non-governmental institutions, we sat with Shia clerics, we sat with the most senior scholars. Prior to going to Iraq, I had certain ill-informed views about a sectarian war and tragedy between Sunni and Shias. This was fueled by my own ignorance and by certain media representation that I saw. But when I went to Iraq and I was guest of Ataba al-Husseiniya, what I learned in conclusion was that there wasn't a sectarian war, that humanity was united, they were together. That
youngsters beware and refrain from supporting them because they are enemies not only of Iraqis or some sects, they are enemies of humanity.
And we heard firsthand the stories of brutality of ISIS. These people were immensely brave and still hoped to one day to return to their hometowns, which were now under the control of ISIS.
Third point which was to be focused on, that was to check the relations of different religions or circumstances of different minorities.
The groundbreaking fatwa of Ayatollah Sistani about uniting and fighting against Daesh without looking at sectarian differences. Daesh's aims were to divide and destroy Iraq into territories for each sect.
كان الهدف من زيارة 7 من أئمة المساجد في بريطانيا هو مهمة تقصي الحقائق لما يجري في العراق. كانت الصورة السائدة بأن هناك حرب طائفية بين الشيعة والسنة وما تقوم به داعش وللدفاع عن أهل السنة والجماعة بالعراق. قامت مؤسسة انتجريتي UK بمبادرة بدعوة 7 من أئمة المساجد في بريطانيا الذين يمثلون طيف واسع من المجتمع السني في بريطانيا من الجالية الإسلامية في بريطانيا. ذهبوا للعراق الأئمة واستقصوا الحقائق هناك، قاموا بزيارة كربلاء والنجف وبغداد الضلوعية وسامراء، وخلال هذه الزيارة التقوا عدة علماء دين من الشيعة والسنة، وقاموا بلقاء العديد من الناس العاديين، وقاموا بسؤالهم عن ما يجري بالعراق، وخرجوا بنتيجة بأن ما يجري في العراق هي حرب بين الشعب العراقي بالنيابة عن العالم، مقاتلا داعش ممثلا للشر بالعالم. القناعات التي خرج منها الوفد بأن لا يوجد مساحة للطائفية بالعراق، وأن العراق يبذل الكثير من الجهود لمحاربة داعش ونفيها، وقاموا بتسمية داعش بخوارج العصر.
And also from Sunnis, we have found that there is no trace of any sectarian violence. This is what we have learned. We met with great Sunni scholars. Especially, we been to Baghdad and we met with Dr. Al-Isawi, who is the Khatib and Imam of Al-Qadiriyya, which is the biggest center of Sunni people. Yazidis and Muslims, Sunnis and Shia all together. So we also listened to the people about the atrocities of ISIS, and we learned and we have come to this conclusion that those people who are claiming to be a great Sunnis or Muslims, in fact, they have no relation with Islam.
They have very clearly mentioned that it was a fact-finding mission to visit the Iraq, and we was taken to several places, as they have mentioned that we have met to the...
Assured us that there was no such thing, there was no prejudice between or no fight between different religions. Rather, with the grace of Almighty, all the religions are all together. They are attending their gatherings, their all sort of ceremonies, each other, going to the worship places of all religions, and they are against Daesh. They are all together. They are united.
Sheikh Karbala'i, who is the spokesman for the Sheikh Santani, and Abdul Mahdi Karbala'i. He gave a very comprehensive message and to the nation that we should live together, and Daesh is our common enemy.
And anything to do with Islam. I think we'll give it now.
Condemn the Brussels attacks.
Of course, this goes without saying that we condemn.
At the beginning we did.
Yeah, in the beginning we have condemned.
That's one of the condemnation. And this is the whole point of this exercise, is to come back and prevent future atrocities and extremist young minds to go that route.